we thought it would be great to have our moms here chatting it up here tonight. And we have Pam Sissio here. Pam, say hi.
Hi.
Hi. And we have Renee. Is it Pesh? Is it Pesh?
Page.
It's Pesh. It's Pesh. Did you ever think growing up as a child that your last name would be the Italian word for fish?
No, never, never.
Never.
Never in your wildest
Never in
dreams.
your
My
wildest
wildest
dreams.
dreams.
Never in your wildest dreams. We had some trivia questions. It's a U.S. history and world reports. No, I'm just kidding. From microeconomics. No. We have some. Do you have the questions you sent me earlier?
I do.
All right. Try to word them fairly simple.
Okay, there's 3.
There's just 3 of them.
They're around Mother's Day. Mother's Day marks the most blank on any given day of the year.
You're never gonna guess
The
this.
most blank.
The most. This event happens the most on Mother's Day. than
This
any event.
activity.
This activity.
You're gonna like this one.
Brunches.
I was gonna say
Brunches?
Nope.
That's well. All right. Time's up.
reservations.
Another good
For
guess.
brunch?
Yeah. Brunch reservations.
Dinner.
The answer is phone calls.
Phone calls
Phone-
spike on Mother's Day.
Phone traffic spikes up to 37%
How do you like
on
that?
Mother's Day.
How do you like that?
Interesting.
I'll call you. I don't even have to call you. Give me the next one, and Pam's got the answer.
Mother's Day is the busiest day for blank businesses.
Retail?
Oh my gosh.
Florist.
Oh my God. No.
Chocolate?
That'd be Valentine's Day.
Appliances?
Home appliance centers.
May is Maytag month. Come on down.
Yes, it is.
This segment is brought to you by Maytag.
No, All-Star.
All-Star Maytag. Where we sell the best and service the rest.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thomaston Avenue.
Thomaston
Yes.
Avenue in
12:15.
Waterbury.
Jeff, did you hear that?
Restaurants.
Restaurant
Restaurants.
businesses.
Yes.
Very good, Renee.
Specifically, if I could harbor a guess, probably the Painted Pony.
Painted Pony and
San Marinos.
San Marino's and what is the one in Wolcott?
Mona Lisa.
The
Mona
Lisa.
Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
I've never been to Mona Lisa. I don't think.
This was boring. What year did the president sign Mother's Day into law as a national holiday?
Yeah.
1975.
No.
Who was the president in 1975?
Earlier.
Do you know that? Are you a history
Nixon?
person? Was it Nixon?
Oh, it
No.
might have been.
Carter. No.
I didn't like U.S. history.
1914.
Ford.
Over 100 years ago.
Oh wow.
Over 100 years ago. I'm waiting. I'm sorry. I'm just waiting for the text from my father saying, "Oh, son, put me down for the Father's Day podcast." We already recorded that 2 weeks ago.
Nana said 1945.
No, 1914.
1914.
It's been
Oh.
99. This is the 99th official Mother's Day, if my math
Wow.
serves me correctly, right?
No.
Yeah, because 14 is next year.
Next year's
Oh, yeah.
24.
Oh.
Nope, it's been 110.
And
And
10.
10.
Oh,
Did you-
who cares
did
about
you
math?
pass
Tim,
math?
you're so good at math.
Carol-
You're strong.
Math
point.
is up for debate.
Carolyn would be on you right now for that, Mr.
Yeah.
Math. Okay.
Yeah. Nick just wants everybody to know that new scratch and dent load is in. Or what I was told once, Scrads.
Scrads.
Scrads, yes.
Favorite television show growing up as a child? News Zoo Review. What was your favorite growing up as a kid on TV? What was your favorite show to watch?
Little kid was Captain Kangaroo, but then I
Ooh.
was older. Was the Love Boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love boat. I love the Love Boat.
Love the Love Boat.
Yes.
But you were a teenager at the Love Boat. We're not.
Brady Bunch.
Or no, my
Donnie Marie Show.
Brady Bunch.
Oh yeah.
Was that like Nickelodeon? What would be on? Or there'd be local channels back then.
ABC?
TV Land.
TV. No, no,
Yeah,
TV
it
Land
could
didn't
be.
exist.
It's on TV Land now.
Well, we
Fa-
only had a few channels, really. We're not that
Oh,
old. But
here's
we
another-
did only have a few channels.
Here's another one. Favorite show, Pam. Jonathan's favorite show growing up as a kid. What was always on the TV? No, we don't know the answer. So just if you had to guess, what was something that had to be on for Jonathan?
Besides Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
let's
she
see.
called you out on that one.
You liked SpongeBob
I was gonna say
SquarePants.
SpongeBob, yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
a
I
big
was-
show. I hated
That was
show.
my era.
I didn't like it at all.
That was my era of cartoons. I've been showing Leo SpongeBob.
Me too. Oh yeah, Luca and Gio love SpongeBob. SpongeBob's so cool. Mom, what was one of my favorite shows?
Is that why you're wearing yellow?
Yes.
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 You loved the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh no.
And
Yeah.
chips. Chips.
Oh, my
Chips.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So many people just signed off.
We just lost half our audience.
Sorry.
I like, yeah, when I was older, but then I mean, I would watch, Mr. Rogers was
Mr.
great.
Rogers,
Crying out loud.
Fred Penner.
Sesame Street.
Fred Penner. Who's Fred Penner?
Electric Company, do you remember?
Not the electric company.
Electric Boat? That's in,
No.
That's in
Sesame
Groton.
Groton.
Sesame Street.
It was Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers.
Lucas said, "I like potato chips." No, the show chips with Ponch and John. CP, we did a lot of CPTV.
You really
Oh,
didn't
Reading
care
Rainbow.
too
Reading
much.
Rainbow.
Yeah, yes, a lot of Reading Rainbow.
With
CPTV.
no, we did a lot of CPTV. Yes.
PBS.
PBS.
Yes.
Yeah, we did a lot of that. Well, this is us tonight. So for tonight, we thought that having our mothers aboard would be fun. So the pressure is totally on, and we're just gonna do some just questions on motherhood, being a mom. You guys have a little bit more idea than Jonathan and I do, since you guys were and are our mothers. And for a baseline scripture, I'm just gonna have Jonathan read it. Just scripture out of Proverbs 6, and Jonathan's just gonna read it.
Sure. My child, obey your father's godly instruction and follow your mother's life-giving teaching. Fill your heart with their advice and let your life be shaped by what they've taught you. Their wisdom will guide you wherever you go and keep you from bringing harm to yourself. Their instruction will whisper to you at every sunrise and direct you through a brand new day.
Speaking of the sun, did you all see the sun driving in here today? So if you're watching this live on Facebook, the sun looked just like a big orange circle, big ball of fire in the sky as it's setting. And since I love to tell people things, so the reason why you see that haze out there tonight is that it's not haze. It is smoke from the wildfires out in Saskatchewan and Alberta, out north of Seattle, Washington. So that smoke is 3,000 miles old, and if you get a chance to take a look at the sunset tonight, it's pretty awesome. This quote from Max Lucado: the love of a mother for her child, is there any deeper? The love of God for his children, is there a love any bolder? Woven through Scripture are gentle reminders that God's love is like that of a mother, deep, unrelenting, and bold. Is your love for us deep, unrelenting, and bold? That was from Max Lucado. All right, so just as a background, and be as vague or as detailed as you absolutely like, and maybe we could start with Pam or anyone, just open up the conversation. What does motherhood mean to you? If you had to answer that, and you do have to answer that.
Well,
We should have told them the subject matter before we came down here tonight. I'm just kidding.
I can't put into words what motherhood is. It's a whole bunch of things. It's like a whole bunch of little piles to put together.
Good answer.
There's learning. It's your children learning things from you. It's you teaching things from when you were little. I don't know where it is. Oh, okay. So many different things. So many different things. What do you
It's
have?
hard to, put it in, like,
It's meant to be broad question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your broad answer?
I am truly blessed with two boys. I feel that John and I have done a wonderful job raising them. To this day, I still get wonderful compliments, and they're almost 29 and 26 years old, on how well we did with them. They may have their faults. I may have taught them some things in the wrong way, but in the long run, I think that I learned it all from my parents, and I was hoping that I passed it along to them.
I like that answer.
And I see my one son teaching his kids the same way. And there's a difference of when we were brought up and when they were brought up, and now when our grandchildren are brought up.
Yeah, we're going to talk about grandkids later on, too.
It's just a whole different society out there right now. It's just different. It's just different. But the most important thing is the love that we all share, and that's it in a nutshell.
Things like family folding night, family laundry folding night.
So
or
we
whatever.
had family folding night. Yes, you guys all make fun of
That
me,
was
but.
my best
I
man
think that's
speech.
great. I think of that often. That's great.
So we had
That was
family
great.
folding night where we folded the clothes on our bed upstairs, and it was a good time for everybody to put their phones away, including me, and we folded clothes. They hated it. They literally hated it. But
Mom, is family folding night in your home? Is that when you just fold all the clothes for the whole family?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
What? Give me some words from mother.
Now I
Yeah.
do that, and I make piles on everyone's beds. And
That's right.
put it away. I don't put them away anymore.
You mentioned, Pam. You mentioned your mother, and I want to go there a little bit because you also, both of you, have a unique take in your relationship with your mothers because you guys both lost your father at a young age. You were 9 years old when you lost your dad, sudden heart attack, and Pam, you were 18.
I was 18, and my brother was 17, and my other brother was 15.
Wow.
And my mom was 42 as
Yeah.
a widow. Yes. So
Wow.
she's a strong
Yeah.
person, very
Yep.
strong person,
Yep.
and I believe I became strong because of that.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's how I am today because of that. And my new part-time job is taking care of her with my brothers since her stroke, and she is doing well. And but it's an extra part of our lives now that we're taking care of. Same with Renee.
Yeah. I was gonna say when you're that young and it's just you and your mom, the relationship is different. It's more unique. You're almost a team.
Very
And-
different. Very different.
Very different. Very different. Very different. And I mean, you saw your mom overcome that difficulty. I mean, you specifically, my mom. You guys had 2 acres in Watertown, or
Acre and a half.
acre and a half in Watertown. That
She
they
used to get on the tractor.
She has to
mow
get on the
lawn.
tractor. Yes, they just built a house in Watertown on Charter Oak Drive, and they had an acre and a half. And 2 years into owning the home, maybe not even 2 years
about
after,
1 year exactly.
about 1 year after the house
Yep.
was built, on your acre and a half, your husband at 38 years old passes away of a heart attack, and now she's there with the
34.
at 34. My grandmother at 34 gets on the John Deere and has to cut the grass for 7 years after.
7 or 8 years she did.
7
it,
or
yeah.
8 years cutting the grass with the John Deere. And Jonathan, you have 2 acres. but that's what you're left with, and you're
And she worked pretty much a full-time job, worked nights because it was just me at home. So she would work nights a lot so she could be home as much as possible.
yeah.
And she would stay up a lot because that's what you do.
You make it work.
You make it work.
You make it work, and then so you have to also balance. So you have to be the mother still, but then you also have to take on responsibilities that your husband left behind, whether it is cutting an acre and a half of grass or shoveling the snow or whatever else that had to get done, and it happens in an instant. And I mean, if you didn't have that relationship with your mom, maybe your relationship with your mom would be different than it is now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes, I think so.
I mean, to be 9 and 18 years old, and your mom is almost all you have. That's almost still the case because Pam, you're still obviously close to Marge, and you're close to your mom, and there still almost is it's a daughter mother, but there's also almost like a I don't want to say older sister, younger sister, but as you get older, that age gap closes a little bit,
Yeah.
and you become a team a little bit, and you rag on each other a little bit, as mothers and daughters, I'm sure, do. But you guys had that special bond that something like Jonathan and I have. We have parents, you know, and you guys, there was a void filled. So you coming from strong mothers, coming from strong mothers. Hey, I thought I'd ask this question though too, because of that. What are some traits that you've learned from your mom that you now do? And I have in italics here, even if it bothers the heck out of you.
Sticky notes. My mother has sticky notes everywhere. I know she's watching.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
And I have sticky notes. I don't put things in my phone. I don't put a lot of notes in my phone. I have sticky
Really?
notes. I feel like I have to have it on the calendar. It reminds me of everything. Isn't that funny?
And you probably were like when you were younger, like, Mom, get all these notes. Mom, you're nuts.
Yeah,
And
I
now-
said, these are the most dumbest things. And now I have sticky notes everywhere.
Chelsea kind of plays this game with my Nana where she like tries to dig into information of when she raised my mother, so she could kind of pick up on certain traits that she developed. So Chelsea has fun with that.
My mom and I are very different. Tim, can you think of anything we are very
Other than
different?
hairstyle, I don't know. You guys are very different because you're very much like your dad.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
Well, I figure I must be because I don't remember a lot.
Yes.
But I must be because
well, you guys like. I think
we
you,
do like to travel.
I was gonna say.
It's
You guys like. As Dad says, you like guys like gallivanting. You guys like gallivanting. You guys like doing you guys like doing a lot of that stuff. But you guys are different from each other too.
Well, you know what? My mom was a nurse for like 40-something years, and I went into nursing. I wasn't a nurse, but I was a CNA and then a PCA.
Oh, is that better than a nurse? Let's meet the parents.
And I think just her example of her career and caring for people really kind of helped guide me to my profession, what I wanted to do. I really admired her for that, for her job.
I think as your moms get older, it's probably easy to forget there was a time period where, the fact that they had to do everything and also be the example. And, that's probably right. They had so many sticky notes, Pam, is because she had to be in control of so many things. And all of a sudden there wasn't someone else to dictate a lot of that stuff to.
My mom had to lean on a lot of other moms to help with transportation and stuff because she worked,
Jonathan, I mean, you'd feel almost like even Marge. I mean, it was almost like as a grandmother to you too. I mean, even for us, my grandparents, my grandmothers.
Yeah, yeah, and my Nana was a big part of my childhood. I mean, she was one road down from us, and we were at her house for a whole day, at least once or twice a week, and we would have Monday night dinners with her, and yeah, I mean, just me and Nick being there all day with her, it was almost as if our mother was, my mom was there watching us. It was very comparable to how we were raised and how she was raising us by her own.
And you know what's funny is as growing up and we were working, Daddy and I were always, working. Hey, Ma, can you pick up Jonathan at, Judson School?
Yeah.
Because I can't get there. And now I find that you guys,
Exactly.
hey, can you get Leo? Or can you watch? And yeah, so we see it. It's coming back.
Well,
it's
thank
like
God
it's
for our
just-
moms. Thank God. Sometimes I'd work like 3 to 11 a couple nights in a row, and my husband would work 3 to 11 too, and the boys would be with my mom. And
We had good
family.
times too with
Yeah.
with that.
And you know what? We always made it work.
Yeah.
We always make it
Yeah.
work.
I don't know how sometimes, she would work as she was older. She worked till 4 o'clock or so, pick up the kids wherever they were, make dinner, help with homework, get them to bed too, as a grandparent.
My grandmother would pick me up here after youth group at 4 o'clock, and on Saturdays when Dennis and Karen used to do it on Saturdays here, and my grandmother would come to do the carting around. Jonathan, I'm going to give you a follow up. Do you have any traits from your mom? And I'm going to actually open this up to Jonathan and Chelsea, who's watching online.
Be nice.
No, what do you guys? And I'm asking off the cuff here, but are there things that you've seen in your life that you can attribute to? I guess either one of your parents, specifically. No, your mom. Your mom. I don't know.
For sure.
Oh.
Well, I
I'm
find
so excited.
I find myself doing or catching myself doing a lot of things that my dad would do, but also what my mom would do. And I feel like I have like a perfect 50-50 split of the two of them. Like, you could ask, Chelsea said booby traps. Yeah. So, I am like my father. He's very, he's kind of like a clean freak, and he has to make sure everything's kind of cleaned up, put in
messes.
put it exactly, put in order, and I find myself doing that. But at the same time, I kind of work in some organized chaos, which
Yes.
is exactly what.
Oh,
my-
she is organized
my mo-
chaos.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Jeff's gonna chime in here
I mean,
somewhere.
she could have piles and piles of stuff, and she knows exactly where everything is. And I find myself doing that a lot. And like,
Sitting in class.
yeah.
What's the meaning of this? Yeah, you
But
see
yeah,
it, and you
I
notice
I
it.
see it,
You
and I
notice
notice
it.
it, and I'm like, wow, that was weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like I'm not gonna be surprised when like Leo and Nico start doing things that I do or Chelsea do. So it's kind of just full circle on
That's what
everything.
family traits are all about.
I
Kids.
I knew when I got in the car to come down here tonight and I saw the sun. I knew my mom was looking at that sun.
And I knew he was looking at that.
I
sign.
knew that she was on her glasses on her nose trying to take a picture and driving 84 at the same time. I knew that was happening. Me and my mom, we love that. My brother, but we love we have a get up and go type of way of living. Like, let's go check this out. Let's go do this. Let's go,
We
there's
send
a
each other shots of the radar.
yeah,
storm
radar.
that's
Yeah,
going-
yeah.
Within like 2 seconds of each other because we've just
I was
done
like,
it
oh,
at the
there's
same time.
a tornado warning in Northfield. Okay, I'm going. yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, there was a
You are
fire.
like me.
There was a fire. There was a fire. There was a what's that farm on the corner of Platte Road and Route 6 that went up in
Gustafson?
No.
Terra
Young's-
Farm?
Young's-
Terra
Young's,
Farm?
Young's
Young's
Farm,
Farm,
Young's
yeah.
Farm. Young's Farm had a barn went up in smoke over
Yes.
over the fall, and I said I'm gonna go for a ride. And my mom, who lives 25 minutes away, sent me a text and said, "All right, I think I'm gonna get in the car too." And because she goes, "Do you see anything?" I said, "I just see fire trucks. I don't know what's a fire." It's like, I don't know.
Chelsea yells at me for like I want to get in the car with
Me
her and
too.
go see things.
Me
Yeah.
And she has the police scanner for
I know.
Watertown,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she knows everything.
Oh, I pulled up here. The first thing Pam said is, "Look at the sun over there." Yeah.
No, we used to do that all the time though. When I was younger, either my mother and I would get in a car, or my father and I, we would see.
Yeah.
It
Do you remember
passes
the
along.
big factory fires downtown Waterbury?
Yes.
We used to go see
yes,
those.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it with our? Why? How are we like this?
Why? That's terrible.
Michaela also said sense of direction, right?
yes.
Because right. Where's
No,
where's
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
Where's south right now? South.
No.
Wait a minute.
Oh, you just blew yourself up.
No.
Uh,
South is.
This
Okay.
way.
Yeah, it's that way. Route 8 south.
Route 8 South is back behind me.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay.
trust me, everybody. She's good at some things. No, just kidding. No, my sense of direction. Sense of direction.
South.
It is.
Sorry.
That's south. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I said
You
that
were
way.
pointing. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, you can. Me and Michaela, we were in Boston once, and we were talking to my mom on the phone, and we wanted to get from A to B. We called my mom, who was 2.5 hours away in Waterbury, and my mom said, I explained to her where I was in an intersection and where I'm trying to go, and she said, there should be a Dunkin' Donuts to the right on the corner there, and me and Michaela look up, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts right there. Yeah. I can go somewhere one time in the state of Connecticut
no.
or whatever, and I can
John
get there
Guilford,
again.
Last week, Guilford.
Guilford, right. Yeah, yep, sense of direction, all that,
But I want to say something about similarities. Like Luca, who's 6, his firstborn, he has so many traits of his dad. Tim was such a hard worker when he was a little kid, and we have an electric mower. We have a small yard. We have an electric mower, and we have kind of with him helped him mow the lawn. And he's just like his dad. His dad used
Yeah.
to do that too, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh, so many similarities. It's
Crazy.
amazing.
And we can roll right into to Joy's there too. So I know you guys like talking about your grandkids, but excluding grandkids for a second because we'll get there. But just being a mom, what are some of the joys of being a mom? Joy's proudest moments Pam, what some things that you've experienced?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind is just watching them grow into men, like from teenagers to high schoolers to college to dads or
Yeah.
marriage and then dads or just marriage, Nick. I just think that it's just amazing. It's just nice to see it all work out. You know, it all like that. I feel like that is a joy that it makes me happy that I did a good job, or I think I did, anyways.
And it's a gift to be able to see that. It's really
You know, yeah, it is.
Mom, what are some of your proudest moments, Mom? What are some of your? I mean, like, what are some of the joys of like being a mom? Of like, me.
It's hard. It's hard to say. You can't pinpoint one thing. There's so many things. Just, being an only child too. Like I had lots of cousins growing up, but at the end of the day, it was just me and my mom. And just to see family who you're actually blood related to, like siblings who have characteristics of maybe your parents, or, it's just such a blessing. It is such a blessing. It's such a gift.
I think right, and I think I think back to Dan's graduation from UConn too, and that was on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And you just got diagnosed like
A
a week
week
prior.
before.
A week prior, she got
Yeah.
diagnosed with that prognosis,
Yeah.
and a week later, it's Mother's Day,
I know.
and we're there at UConn,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all those years ago, and I mean that was a big moment.
It was huge.
yeah.
It was such a blessing to see Dan graduate and Tim go on with his career and future and
Yeah.
Emily now. Emily just finished her.
yeah.
Today was her last
First
exam.
full year.
First year. It was a hard transition, because it's just a lot more responsibility and driving down there, commuting. But she ended up having a really good year. She really loves it. She had a great year.
Well,
So happy for her. So proud of
she's
her.
filling in the role of Joe Ash tonight because mother of boys. You're the one girl mom
yeah,
here too,
yeah.
also because we have one girl, and there are differences there too, and you've had to approach that differently.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Plus
have
the
to.
age difference too.
Yeah, the age difference too is something too.
Yeah, it's just different. But it's just right now, it's just such joy to see her grow into a young woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves the career she's going into, and she tells us sometimes she gets on a kick and tells us all about the heart and the ventricles and the muscles and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. And it's just so great to see the joy she has.
Joy.
So I hope that she, really enjoys her career. And it sounds like, she picked the right career for herself.
Luca had his first baseball game last night, and he went 3 for 3 with I don't know, 2 RBIs or whatever. But when he got his first hit, I mean that was joy, right? And I think when you just said, like you just mentioned Emily, that's Luca getting a hit, right? When you see, I guess what I'm saying is when you see your kid succeed at something or do something that they've worked for, not that Luca worked really hard for that, but it's just and to actually have it happen, whether it is graduate from college or get that career or buy your first home and all this. I mean, when I got the offer accepted to my home in Watertown, my mom was the first person I called, and we were in Maine at the time, and sharing those big life moments with our mothers. It's funny, Jonathan, because like our dads are our dads. Our dads are our buddies in that regard. But our moms fill a different role in there, and
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something else too, something that, some advice that I got when you guys were little, 6 and 3 or whatever. Somebody here at this church who was going here told me that she prayed for her children's future spouses, even though it was going to be a long way off. And I did that for years, off and on. I would pray for the future spouses because that makes such a difference in your life. And I have so much gratitude and joy
Yeah.
with my 2 daughter-in-laws. I am so thankful.
What an
and
interesting point.
It does bring me joy to see them with their spouses and their families. It's just
I didn't even think about that aspect for both of you guys, for Carolyn
I definitely
and Chelsea
recommend that
and
for you guys to
Julie and
start.
Michaela. Yeah. Oh, I have. Yeah, we have.
praying for their spouses
we
in
have.
the future.
We have.
Yep.
We have. And yeah, we've explored that. Yeah, that's right. That's right too. When you give the wedding day, right, is the culmination of like you're giving your child away, in that regard, and a proud moment, but a joyful moment and everything. We were gonna. What was your wedding? The mother son dance at your wedding. Do you remember what it was?
I do.
Yeah.
What was it?
You raised me up.
Oh yeah.
Josh
that's
Groban.
Josh Groban. That's well, we were afraid to cry, so we picked. There were 2 options. One, she wanted to do. Do you remember the first one? I think it was like the Sesame Street theme song we
Oh,
wanted to
yeah,
dance
yeah,
to
yeah.
because we didn't want to cry. And then we wanted to do "My Wish"
Yeah.
And I said, don't do My Wish, Mom. That's the cancer song.
This is
Oh,
before.
then-
right.
Right. And we did. I don't know what we ended up with. I don't know
Andrea
what's-
Bocelli? Andrea
Oh,
Bocelli?
yeah. Oh, the prayer.
Yeah, the prayer,
Yes,
prayer,
yes.
right.
Yeah, we'll be doing
remember
that
that.
later on. That's a good one.
And Celine
Up on the
Dion.
stage.
Celine Dion and
That's right.
Andrea Bocelli.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, those were times. It's almost just a graduation to life, I think, and the joy and the proud moments of seeing that, kind of seeing that take place. The opposite of joy, or the reciprocal of joy, would be struggles, and I think I have it on like page 3 here too. But difficult days. I don't know if you have a page 3 too, but along with joys, there's once you go over the hill, you kind of go back down though too, and there are moments of difficulties, and I don't know. I just open it up for conversation. But what are some of the biggest difficulties of being a mother, or maybe even some specifics of things that you've had to encounter being a mom? Anyone?
Well, I asked John this question just like an hour before I got here, and we both came in agreement that this question is letting them go was the biggest thing, and I think it wasn't.
When do you plan on doing that?
Has that happened yet?
So I think it did. I think it did.
That's for
after-
you, Chelsea. That's for you, Chelsea and Carolyn.
After Nick got married, it's like, okay, we're empty nesters now, and they're gone, and they're on their own. Let them go.
Yeah.
Let them fly.
Yeah.
Let them learn. Let them figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think that we invested so much time that it's never really, I don't want to say letting go, but it doesn't end at all. It's just
Right.
a whole other relationship.
It is. It's a different
You know?
way of letting go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when you see like your, when you see Jeff's funny. When
I
you
see him, I see him.
When you see like your kid, fail at something, or struggle,
It's
and you don't have the control.
it's one of the worst things to go through. It really is.
Yeah.
Even the little things at school, like if there's an issue at school or
Yeah.
something with friends or
You can only advise.
Yeah.
You try your best to advise and talk out the situation, and they got to figure it out.
and I think it's harder on us than you guys for a lot of things.
Yeah. No,
When you go through
probably
things.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that may be.
Disappointments and just
yeah.
it's just or when
Because your children, because not only are we here with our moms, but we're their firstborns, Jonathan, too, right? So we're their Luca and Leos, and you're forever Luca and Leo.
Yeah.
My dad said that to me once. He goes, "You're my Luca," and that puts into different perspective. They say, "Okay, well, the way I feel about Luca is the way you feel about me." So when you see something, when you see a struggle happen, I mean, when everything went down 7 years ago, right? As a mom. And you never thought you'd be here talking about being a mom right before Mother's Day here 7 years later. And I mean, you don't even have to unpack that, but I'm just saying there is different, not only, geez, you get this crazy diagnosis for yourself, but also I'm still a mom, right? And Emily was how old at the time?
11.
11 years old at the time.
and like I said, because I experienced that when I was a kid, and that was the last thing I would want any of my kids to have to go through.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I it really, the only thing that's given me peace is to know that God loves you guys more than we do.
Yep.
And He knows every single thing about you, and He's promised to be there, and He's going to be there every step of the way.
Yeah.
But it's still hard.
It's still hard. But
That's life. It's all part of life.
yeah. I mean,
But 7 years later, yes.
7 years later, right?
Never,
I know.
never.
It's
Amazed.
amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every day is Mother's
Absolutely.
Day.
Yep.
In that regard, every day is Thanksgiving in that regard. And I know that when you go through times of even maybe Jonathan and I, when you go through times that just kind of stink, you sometimes you choose who you go to as for your parent, right?
Sure.
Like I don't know, maybe you turn to your dad for something, you turn to your mom for something. Like for me, I think both of my parents, but I think I would have longer conversations with my mom. I think, and I don't know, your take, Jonathan, but like your parents play different roles in your life.
For sure. I mean, yeah, it depends what it is, but
Yeah.
there's stuff that I I've gone through that I, first of all, I don't, my first instinct isn't to talk about my difficulties to someone else. But when I feel the need to, there's conversations that I would have with my mother to kind of just get another perspective on things. And she's never failed at that. I mean, there was one particular time where, I was going through something difficult, and I didn't have more faith in where I was at than just my parents being there for me, and not even kind of talking about what was going on, but just kind of being
Being
there. And that's the best comfort you can get, I think, on this earth.
Yeah.
I mean, God provides all the comfort we need, but like we said at the beginning, that our mothers give that kind of that gentle reminder and that deep love of what God has planned for us, but that type of love and having that comfort level from a mother figure in your life is
Yeah.
the best thing you can have.
Yeah. Once a mom, always a mom.
Exactly. And I just think that, I mean, we're very fortunate where we are, or where we've been our whole lives. There's a lot of people that don't have good relationships with their mother, and they can't talk to their mother. And there's mothers that aren't as fortunate as as having their kids a phone call away or a mile down the road to kind of help them with life. So I'd say we're very fortunate, and I think our mothers are very fortunate.
Very unique. Our mothers are very very involved in every part of our life. Hang on, Chelsea and Carolyn, before you start with this. What I mean,
Sorry. Hey.
what I mean by that is we get to share life together in the fact that we're sitting here with our moms. Jonathan, they've been worshiping Jesus in this room for 30 years, right? Before, I mean, the fact that we get to worship and learn together in the same pews that our grandparents or our parents have done for years. I think there's a uniqueness to that we also we share faith in that regard too. To what you said, Jonathan, I know people that I don't want to hear from my mother and ever. I don't want to talk to her, and all ages. And what's your mom doing now? Oh, I don't know. It just I can't imagine that. Because and you know what? Maybe part of that is because they don't let us go in that regard. That they are going to constantly be there and constantly be involved, and I think there's energy and effort there probably. And I don't know. And we talked about mom versus dad, but what have you guys, like you, Pam and my mom, like, how do you navigate roles between mom and dad, between like you and John and you and my dad? Like, like who does what?
I do the laundry, John does the dishes.
Actually, yes, it's the same for us.
Same for Chelsea and I, yeah.
And if he steps in my laundry room, he's in trouble.
So,
No.
yeah, but different
We
roles.
have different roles. We have different roles. Like, I can remember I was the one when they were growing up getting them all organized for school, but John would make the sandwiches for them to get to school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we divided our
Divide and conquer, right?
we divided our what's the word I'm looking for?
Responsibilities.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And we made it work. We
Yeah.
made it work.
I feel like, just from my perspective, I feel like my mom was teaching us, my brother and I, the rules of life and how to kind of grow as a person, and how to do things and learn skills. And my dad taught us skills also, but my dad was more of giving us like pep talks and how to go out and evangelize and witness to the Lord. And my mom did that too, but my mom was more of a figure of teaching and how to do things, and basically accepting the fact that, you know, this is how the world is, and you know, this is what we have to do. And
Yes.
and
How to open a checking account.
that's right.
How
Yeah,
to-
exactly.
Yeah,
How to
Mom, let's talk about
balance a
that.
Exactly.
How to drive, how to,
Right.
all those things.
Yeah, let's talk about finances here for a second. You know, my parents played different roles in my life, and you know, I remember talking through life things with my mom of, you know, what is it like to go to college one day? You know, what are these different things, these different conversations, right? Just even vaguely, and my mom was always like we said even earlier, get up and go do. And my dad is like, well, let's be calculated about this. Sometimes a little too much,
Yeah.
sometimes a little too much, right? But he's a financial guy. Jonathan, I have no shame, and my mom has no shame in me saying that, you know what, if I had a big financial decision to make, I wouldn't be calling my mom, right? I mean, didn't Dad he had like an operation once, he had a surgery once, and you brought the checkbook over to him, and he was in his hospital gown in the hospital bed, and he was balancing the checkbook. Like, they just different roles.
I
Just
have
different
stories
roles.
too, Tim. So be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, we passed the difficult days portion. But there are different roles that
Oh,
that you play.
absolutely. He's so much better at it than I am. Absolutely.
But there's a team.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I can't imagine
God puts people together like that.
I'm telling
Right.
you.
It just happens. It's just
Yes.
It
natural.
just happens.
Yes.
It just, I can't imagine a Pam without John or a Mike without Renee. I mean, it just has to go. Chelsea and Jonathan. I think, and even for us, I think it's a team though. It evolves over the years, and you kind of navigate your role, and you know who does what. Like even discipline. You know, me
Yeah.
and Michaela go through that.
Right, and you say discipline, like, and we talked a little bit about with Joe and Mike, being on the same page as your partner in terms of disciplining your children,
Yeah.
and my parents were exemplary in that category in terms of disciplining us and always being on the same page.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Daddy and I are on the same page with you guys, but nothing else.
Nothing else.
We are black and white.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But you need to be.
Exactly.
I think you need to be. You can't, you know, I would say, end up with yourself or marry yourself. You have to have that balance. But being a team, I think, is a big part of it. I think is a big part of it. We can finally talk about grandchildren now, though, too. So, what has that experience been going from? And I actually wrote this down, from mother to grandmother, but still mother. You know, how has that changed? I mean, first of all, I mean, could you have imagined what it was like? I'm sure when you were a little kid playing with dolls or whatever you were playing with. Pam was probably playing with Monopoly money, but my okay,
did.
no,
I
no,
was the-
you did not
I was
pass
the banker.
go. Pam was the banker. Okay, $200. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, but when you were as a child, you probably thought one day I'm going to be a grandmother one day, and you guys can call yourselves whatever you want, but you guys are grandmothers, and you know, just explain that transition a little bit.
I don't think I really thought
Well,
that.
I'm sorry. Actually, on that, grandmothers to boys,
Yes.
right?
I'm a
see,
nana.
right.
What are you, a nana?
And Nana.
I'm
But
a
also,
nana.
and I go back to your point. But also, there's also that element too of like, your sons are raising sons though too. All right, go ahead. Sorry. Okay, great.
Thanks, Tim.
It's so.
No, but
it's
that transition.
so, comforting. Well, no, that's not the word I want.
Sorry.
It's enjoyable to watch Jonathan be a dad to his kids. It's nice seeing him raise his children, and I am just I'm a different person with our grandchildren.
Yeah.
They just put a smile on my face. I think I posted it on Facebook the other day, or something about.
It's exhausting, but it is like the
Yep.
best thing ever.
I would
It is-
I would drop everything for them, and I pretty much have. I don't know if I work anymore. No. it is exhausting, but I hope we don't show it, but it's wonderful.
It's okay if you
It's
do.
just wonderful.
It's okay if you do.
It's so much fun. Oh my gosh. It started out with Luca being the first that him and I went on so many like hiking adventures. And this is one place that I hope when he's older he goes back to, not far from where I grew up and where they live. There's a tree, and with my key, this place we went hiking, I carved his name. I carved his name into the bark. And we went one day and we took Tim with us back for a little hike there, and we found it.
Yeah.
And I just think
Years
I just
later.
hope that like in 10, 20 years
that's
that
awesome.
he'll go hiking there and say, oh, my name and I did this. And yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that's exhausting, and Pam, you mentioned that you can't do anything else. There's a element to like, this is Jonathan and I's battle, and but your involvement is still needed also. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, you get to go over to your grandmother's house today. It's Pam, you got to pick up Nico, or I got to drop Gio off to you, and not that it's work, but it's work. I mean,
It's
you're
work, but our mothers did it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were just saying a little
Yep.
earlier. It's like,
So they were
kinda
good
do it.
examples for
Yes,
us.
they
Yeah,
were good
absolutely.
examples.
Yeah.
And here we are, running,
Yeah.
wherever. Or I remember my mother, can you go up to the house and get the kids off the bus for me? Many times. I'm not
Yeah.
going to make it there. And we're doing that stuff now.
Yeah, and I'll just say, like, from my point of view, like, I remember the first few times we were handing off Leo as a baby to my parents. And I'm like, all right, well, it's been 25 years since they've done this.
Yes.
How big is the learning curve going to be to kind of feel comfortable
I'm pretty
with
sure
doing
we
this?
passed.
And I mean, like, there really was no learning curve. And I remember when Leo was that young,
That's funny.
I remember whether, Monday through Friday, whether it was Leo going to daycare or Leo going to my parents, I remember having this pit in my stomach every day, dropping him off to daycare. Like, what if something goes wrong? What if something happens? I'm literally 100 yards from where the daycare was from my work, but I still had that pit in my stomach.
Wow.
And I just remember every time I dropped him off my parents, I just nothing. Just
Yeah.
like a sigh of relief, and like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
total trust, total confidence that no matter what happens, they're going to be okay, and they're going to be raised, in an environment and in a location where I feel that they're safe.
And the other thing is, and I would always say, it's like watching Jonathan all over again, just 25 years later. And it's
That's crazy.
exactly that. I'm 25 years older.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it comes right back to you. There are some things that have changed over the years, like safety things. Crying out loud.
I don't know if Chetty still knows how to put a car seat in. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Car seat crap.
I laugh, and I don't know if Chelsea does this too, but like when Michaela's trying to explain something to my mom about a car seat, this that, I'm thinking in my head like, dude, like, she's not gonna do it. Yeah, it's whatever.
Can you check this for me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
has
right.
to be at 47 degrees to the left. Okay, just no. It's as long as it doesn't fall out of the car, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
Which you've done.
Which I've done. That's right. I've had Luca in the back. I had Luca in the back seat of my Chevy Malibu when I had it, and I put Luca. We were going from the East End to Town Plot, and I
know this story.
on 84 through the Mixmaster, and I was going up Valley View Drive in Waterbury, and Luca. I look back, and Luca's in the car seat, right? And then I go up the hill, I look in the rearview mirror, and all I see is the car seat do this. Because he was in the car seat, but the car seat was not connected to the inside of the car, and the whole car seat tipped over
Wonderful.
with Luca fastened in. I got to pull over and put him back and buckle him in. So we drove 6 miles like that on 84.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and now Michaela, now you've heard that story. Yeah, that was it. Just a very slow motion. Hi, Daddy, and then out of the picture he goes. You mentioned laws, safety, all that. I mean, listen, it's in a different world. Your grandchildren are being raised in a different world than your
And it was the
sons were.
same when our parents
Yeah, that's
watched
right, too.
our kids.
Yeah, that's right
you
too.
know?
That's right too.
I
You know-
remember my mother saying, I don't know, why, why?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you never say no to watching Luca and Gio and Dan. I mean, you never really say no, and you can be exhausted. You can come off of chemo. You could have had kid. You know, you could have had Danny all day long and Gio the next day, whatever. And I will also say is that you know, our moms are high energy. You know, and our kids are high energy. So it's almost like our kids are almost your little buddies sometimes.
Yes.
A little.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely. And you know, that's what they say. You know how they say, like, with grandkids, you just have more time and then you can, to play with them because you're not, well, you know, you don't.
That's right.
You don't
Yeah.
have to
You get the good.
do the laundry. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah,
you still
but
do.
I see,
but there's-
I do certain things with Leo and Nico.
You have
But
more
then when
time.
John is with them, he's outside doing all the nature things
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
looking at the pond and
Yeah.
doing this
Yeah.
and watering
Yeah.
the plants and.
Right,
But-
but to your
Yeah.
point, at the end of the day, you're handing them back to us.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we're
Bye-bye.
and we're doing all the hard stuff.
Well, I had a moment. I had a moment. I shared this with Priscilla Johnson 2 weeks ago, where my mom had stopped by the house for something. I looked inside my mom's car, and inside my mom, 55 years old, right? Inside my mom's SUV are 2 car seats, and I thought to myself, "Oh no, is this my future?" As soon as you get the car seats out of the car, as soon as you get your life back to somewhat, you know, stable, you're going to be driving around your SUV with car seats. I mean, there's probably 6 car seats out in the parking lot right now.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There is.
Right? And that is something that's almost
time
life being full
flies.
circle.
Time flies.
Like honestly, do you and Pam and my mom, like, do you ever, like, you get to a red light and you look in your rearview mirror and you see
No,
two empty car seats and you think,
No,
wow, this is my life now.
I have a message that comes up on my thing
Yeah.
that says, please look
Check
in
the
your
back
back
seat.
seat.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
with the 2 car seats.
I know, but that's your life. It's just a picture of, like, that's what you do.
Yes, yes.
Sunday, I was sitting here. This happened with Luca too, all of them, Gio.
Oh.
Sitting in church, and you're like, I was sitting here with little Danny, and I'm like,
I know.
and I did it with Luca and Gio. I'm like, I was just sitting here. Tim was this size. Dan was just
Jonathan
this
was
size.
this size, right? Yeah.
I'm now like it's just.
We've all stared at those black
So-
ceiling fans that have never been on
Yes.
since.
Yes,
Yes.
Right.
absolutely.
Well, you mentioned Danny. I mean, on Sunday, I don't know if you saw the image on Sunday. So after church on Sunday,
I saw it.
Danny, right? Now you held Danny probably 3/4 of the service on Sunday, and leaving the service, Danny was like
Kicking and
"No!"
screaming.
After Julie, right, after his mom takes her son into his arms, Danny is reaching for his grandmother. No, I want more. No, please, Nana, please, no, Nana, no, go. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy of how that relationship is. And
We also do know that we can go to bed at 7:30 if we want to,
Yeah.
8 o'clock, because they're home with
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Who I have to tell you, I have a new. I don't want to say a new respect, but young parents, it's a tough when the kids don't sleep, and it's
Well,
constant.
this
and
world
my heart
that
goes
they're
out
in,
to you, but
yeah.
we went through it,
Yeah.
and you'll survive.
You mentioned being here on Sunday. I mean, it's got to be when both of you guys, when you and John, or when you guys walked into this church for the very first time, did you ever think that you'd be sitting here with your kids who are involved and your grandkids sitting on the same wood all those years later? I mean, that's 2 generations.
Yep, God is good.
Two
Yes,
generations.
amen.
God is
Absolutely.
good.
2
He's
generations
kept
in
us
this
here
in
for
this room.
35 years. I'm so glad to see that our boys have came through youth group and went
Yeah.
to Monadnock camp, and now they run the music and the
Oh.
sound system with Nick, and I'm
Oh.
just glad that we're all a family.
It's very unique in that regard, Jonathan.
Yeah.
The fact that we're just all here together. I mean, it is.
We
it
love
is,
our pastor. We love
Yeah.
the messages.
But it's really something. You know, I just.
We're very fortunate because not everybody has that. and
Well,
we're so thankful.
exactly, and I kind of said it before, but like
Yeah.
it's kind of the norm now. And I just saying this from people I know. It's kind of the norm now to once you kind of graduate college to start a family and just move away.
Yeah.
And there's not really you're not really upbringing your family through the same things that you went through.
That's
and
not me and Jonathan's vibe.
exactly, and that's
That's not us.
not our vibe.
That's not us.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like going back to being fortunate that we have this, like we're close to our families and we can have Sunday dinners and
Oh, absolutely.
we can come to church on Sunday and see each other
But
throughout
together.
the week and
Oh
be
my God.
together. Yeah.
Oh, when you look back and you see John holding Nico, or my mom's holding Gio, or Gio holding my mom, or whatever it is, yeah, it kind of throws you a little bit for a loop, And when you see, like you said, your parents or my parents with my two little boys, it's like, well, that's 1998 or 1996.
Gosh, sometimes there was one time where it was me and Daddy and Luca and Gio at the kitchen table, and like
Yes.
we're just like, this
Yes.
is 1996.
Yeah, you know what,
Like, oh
Pam,
my
that's a good question. When you have Nico, if there's a moment where Nico
Same
and
age
Leo are sitting at
difference.
your same table in your same kitchen, it's like, here we
Yeah.
go again.
Here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
Well, we were away this weekend camping, and John always brings Leo downstairs for his goldfish and juice.
On
And
Sunday
I was
mornings,
wondering
yeah.
what was going to happen, and sure enough, we get the FaceTime from Nicholas and Carolyn, Auntie Carolyn and Uncle Nick, and here he is downstairs taking
Yeah.
John's spot
Or
for the
the
Sunday.
train. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good though. I was like, I'm so glad that they did that for him. But
Yeah.
we are blessed. We are blessed with two great sons, two great daughter-in-laws, and two great grandchildren, and it makes me proud. I feel that we did a good job.
You know,
know.
and I'll also say this, and we're almost wrapping up, but there's a lot of good moms in this church, and there's
Yes.
a lot of good aunts in this church. I always say, that I have my mom, I have my Aunt Pam here, I have Aunt Karen here, I have the coolest aunt in the world in Pat Keskis, right? She's everybody's aunt. She is so cool.
She makes the best lighters.
Right, and I don't want to start naming names because I can't name enough, right?
There's so many.
But
There's so
but
many.
Lorene Daigle has given me comfort on the motherly side
Mm-hmm.
of things before, and all of you guys. I mean, I get a hug from Marika Tuccio, right? Just another grandmother, and the moms in this church, I think Jonathan and maybe you are moms to all of us.
Yes. Yeah.
Moms and aunts to all of us.
And one thing I love that Dick says every year on Mother's Day is you don't have to be a mother on
Yeah.
Mother's Day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
because you are a daughter. Or
because
something,
you're a
right?
daughter and you have motherly,
Yeah.
instincts.
Yeah.
And I love that he says that. Just real quick, like
Yeah.
we Chelsea and I kind of, when he said that a few years ago, we're like, yeah, we should really call people and people that aren't really moms, but wish them happy Mother's Day. And her grandfather married somebody, Penny, and they live in Terryville, and she never had a child. And we sent her a Mother's Day gift,
Wow.
and she said, in my entire life, I've never received something like this.
Yeah.
And it was just so
I
so
love
great.
Penny.
That's great.
And
I love that. I
and,
love that.
And this thing that we celebrate on Sunday is really something we should celebrate every day.
Yep.
And just honoring our mothers and all of the motherhood and everything that they teach us is just so important.
Don't take it for granted.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't take it for granted. And I even say, if you're watching this live, our Mother's Day, Mother's Day is this coming Sunday, our Mother's Day service here. But Jonathan brings up a good point. Be aware of those around you, in their circumstances. And if we see you here on at church on Sunday, give a hug to every mother in the room, and because it
It is a hard job.
It's a hard job.
There's a lot of,
it's a hard job.
I can think of a few moms who have lost their children
Yeah, in this room.
in this room.
In this room. Yep.
That
Yep.
must be really, I can't imagine.
Oh, Garrett comes to mind. I mean,
Yep.
Yep. There's a couple of them for sure.
Absolutely. I could think of 3, 4 right now, all of a sudden. Yeah.
It's Jan Dill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to name a couple, name a couple. So be sensitive to that. This year, every year, and this was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. I didn't want to cut anybody off though too. If there was something that anybody wanted to just share about your experiences, thank you guys for hanging out.
It was fun.
This was a fun one. I have to say, and maybe Jonathan, and we'll just end on this, but even here at this table, like the fact that our families are so close as the way they are is a testament to this church, because I'm a small church fan. I think you can kind of be a community like that here. We'll be up with thousands of people up in heaven. I don't need to be with them yet. I like to be with our crew here, and Pam and even my mom, watching Jonathan and Nick grow up too. I am grateful for both of you. Obviously, my mom, that the fact that she's even here right now is glory to God. And that when I'm not speaking about a memory, I'm speaking about my mom who can you watch Luca next Tuesday?
I won't be here.
Yeah, I won't be here. Yeah, she'll be in California. But even to you, Pam, you mean a ton to me. Obviously, my goodness, you mean a ton to me. And I know you're always a text away, but we're never more than 6 days apart. We're never more than 6 days apart, and that is so great. So I love you guys. Thank you for being with us here tonight. Thanks for curling your hair, as you said you did before tonight. Another haircut. Here we go.
I'm
Yeah.
very proud of both you boys for.
Yes.
I was waiting for that. It
great.
took
You have-
42 minutes to get to that.
You have little kids.
You guys did a fine job.
No,
Unbelievable.
really.
And you guys
You have
do a
little
good
kids,
job
you could be
raising your
home.
kids.
Absolutely, and
Yes.
this is important, and
Yeah,
yeah, we're
it
just
is.
very proud of you both.
Well, for Pam Chicho, for Pam Sissio, Renee Clement Drew Pace, Jonathan Sissio, I am Tim Pace. Thanks for hanging out with us. Catch us in a couple weeks for our next edition.
Thank you. Love you guys.